It's that time again, folks, one of my favorite times, which is when we watch videos of my students crushing it, talk about all the cool stuff that they're doing, and subtly try to convince you to join our community. So, in case you're new, my name's JP. I specialize in teaching improvisation. Gotten pretty good at it over the years. I run an educational website, jpbouvetmethod.com, where I specialize in making step-by-step courses that do exactly that. They're pretty good and they work quite well. We have a lot of students now. The website's growing really fast, and it's exciting times. So at the end of a big course, we do an end of course challenge, and everyone can submit a 2 to 3 minute drum solo improvising using the course material that we just studied. So in this case, this was the Improvising with Singles course, which teaches you several melodic strategies to make singles 1,000% less lame than they currently are in your playing. Right? Most people play them down the toms, try to play them up the toms, and they're like, I guess I'm on to doubles now. So we spend 28 lessons developing creative ways to use singles, and you come out the other side playing really advanced stuff. Let's jump into this. I'll start the video playing, and we'll point out some of the awesome stuff that's happening here. So here we go. These are submissions from the End of Course Challenge. You're going to see extremely short clips of them because I like to keep things fairly anonymous for the students. Off we go. Notice the kick drum integration? That's what disguises the singles a lot of the time. Groups of 6 and then consecutive upbeats. Getting the crashes involved. Great solo. Super high energy. Orchestration and kit mobility. Groups of 3. We work on polyrhythms like groups of 3 and groups of 5 and groups of 6. We mastered them in a way. That double kick drum that got in there. Kick drum substitutions. These are huge. We mastered them in a way, those polyrhythms. Okay, fine, pause. We mastered the polyrhythms in a way that makes it really easy. The great thing about using singles as your vessel is that the technical barrier is quite low. So you can broach subjects like groups of 5, which are like an advanced concept. But since you're placing them in singles, which are so technically easy, you're able to master the melodies they create, the polyrhythms they create, without a whole bunch of technical drilling that needs to happen. It's really getting your ear and your mind wrapped around what's happening, which happens a lot faster than getting your hands and feet wrapped around what's happening. Which is why we can start by the end of this course, regardless of your level, playing really advanced and truly advanced melodies, like groups of 5, groups of 3, mixing between them, stuttering them, consecutive upbeats, all these types of things, even if you have only been playing drums for a few years. That's why this course is really exciting. And it's the beginning of the flow mode journey. You do the Improvising with Singles course, and that sets you up, gives you the rhythmic vocabulary, a whole bunch of great improv vocabulary for fills and solos, so that you can move on to the right, left, left kick course, the paradiddles and doubles course, the triplet flow courses, right? And then you start to mix all these together. Anyways, back to it. Notice the difference in dynamic depth that different students use makes this stuff sound radically different. Raw melodies. Such a cool clip. Raw melodies rule. So what we do is we use singles, and we're learning to play all these cool melodies over top of it. But then what happens as a byproduct of this is that you get good at creating the melodies, and you no longer need the singles. So you can take the ghost notes out. Instead of playing da 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 da, you just say ba ga ba 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 da. Right, I'm mixing 3s, 5s, and my down up method to make a melody that is now, like when you take the railroad tracks out, extremely sick sounding and very advanced sounding as well, extremely syncopated. Brian. Johnny always brings the heat. This is all genres type of vocabulary as well. Great dynamic control. Kit mobility, super smooth. Leon here. Look at those lone left-hand accents that pop out. It's one of the main things that we build because everyone's so right-hand or strong-hand dependent. Try not to get distracted by that cool drum set. Woo! Crossovers. Look at all those left-hand upbeats in a row. No, who does that? This was a super creative submission. Some crossovers in there? There's an extra crossovers lesson I threw in at the end. Spoiler alert. And then, woo! We're gonna watch that last clip again because check it out. This is the beauty of, this is how we do this. We learn the improvisation vocabulary in a tightly constrained space, which allows us to master it, right? Otherwise, it's too complex and we're overwhelmed all the time and we never get real mastery and control over it. So we learn singles on the snare drum. We spend like half the course just playing the snare drum, but it's really exciting. And then what happens is, we start orchestrating, we get the kick drum involved, but then what happens, and you see this in this last clip, this student had the insight, before I even go there in the deeper dive courses after, I could just move this to the hi-hat, play a backbeat and kick drums, and now I have all of this advanced singles improvisation happening on top of a groove that I can now hold down. Right, so he's improvising these 3s, 5s, upbeats, down-up method, 6s on the downbeats, upbeats, on the hi-hat, while the kick and snare hold down a groove. Watch that. Which really hammers home a point I make all the time, that learning to improvise on the drums isn't just about learning to play drum solos, right? Most of us aren't playing a lot of drum solos in life. Yes, we want to be better at drum solos. But what you do when you get better at improvising is you become more literate in the language of drumming, right? Your rhythmic vocabulary expands, your ability to understand and think of and create interesting and unique rhythms, which is the core of improvisation on the drums, just grows and grows and grows and grows, right? So then when you're playing a beat, when you're composing a part for a band, when you're jamming with someone, yes, when you're playing a solo, but obviously also when you're just making up a fill between sections, you don't have to get stuck playing the same old fills. You can just start improvising fills, right? And there's also the thing that is often overlooked, right? It's easy to be very utilitarian about learning to improvise, but learning to improvise is an end in itself, right? So it is useful in the sense that it's probably also the best thing you can do for your career as a drummer. But set all that aside, and if we just focus on the fact that most of your time spent playing drums is alone in the practice room, and that ideally we want that time to feel deeper, more creative, more expressive, more meditative, help us get into a flow state after a stressful day, right? For a lot of us, the drums is our escape, are a place to go blow off steam and tune into something deeper after whatever we had to do all day. So making that time your like fellowship with the drums, deepening your relationship with the drums, making that time more creative and rewarding is like a huge benefit in your life. So one of the things that's easy to overlook about learning to improvise. But anyways, so kudos to my students. Thanks everyone who participated in the end of course challenge. If you want to learn to improvise, there's dozens of courses and there's always an in-progress course happening, which you can follow or not. Right now, at the time of this video, we are working on triplet flow, which is super fun and people are crushing it. And that's it. So if you want to learn to improvise, I'll see you over at jpbouvetmethod.com. If you're not ready to sign up, I'll keep putting cool improvisational content up here on my YouTube as well. Hope you're having a good day. Talk to you soon.